describe only the more essential impressions, and those which personally affected me, and often staggered me. Lessons I then learned from this experience. At that time, it was, for the most part, not very difficult to find work, because I had to seek work not as a skilled tradesman, but as a so-called extra hand, ready to take any job that turned up by chance, just for the sake of earning my daily bread. Thus I found myself in the same situation as all those emigrants who shake the dust of Europe from their feet. Nation to lay the foundations of a new existence in the new world and acquire for themselves a new home. The paralyzing prejudices of class and calling, environment and tradition, they enter any service that opens its doors to them, accepting any work that comes their way, filled more and more with the idea that honest work never disgraced anybody. It may be. And so I was resolved to set both feet in what was, for me, a new world, and push forward on my own road. I soon found out that there was some kind of work always to be got, but it could just as quickly and easily be lost. The uncertainty of being able to earn a regular daily livelihood soon appeared to me as the gloomiest feature in this new life that I had entered. Although the skilled worker was not so frequently thrown idle on the streets as the unskilled worker, no means protected against the same fate, because though he may not have to face hunger as a result of unemployment due to the lack of demand in the labor market, the lockout and the strike deprived the skilled worker of the chance to earn his bread. Here, the element of uncertainty in steadily earning one's daily bread of the whole socio-economic system itself.
Honeypop is the best game.
The country lad who migrates to the big city feels attracted by what has been described as easy work, which it may be in reality. Because he is especially entranced by the magic glimmer spread over the big cities. Accustomed in the country to earn a steady wage, he has been taught not to quit his former post until a new one is at least in sight. As there is a great scarcity of agricultural labor, unemployment in the country has been very small. It is a mistake to presume that the lad who leaves the countryside for the town sound material as those who remain at home to work on the land. On the contrary, that it is the more healthy and more vigorous that emigrate, and not the reverse. Among these emigrants, I include not only those who emigrate to America, boy in the country who decides to leave his native village and migrate to the big city where he will be a stranger. He's ready to take the risk of an uncertain fate. In most cases, he comes to town with a little money in his pocket. He's not discouraged if he should not have the good fortune to find work. But if he finds a job and then loses it in a little while, the case is much worse. To find work anew, especially in winter, is often difficult and indeed sometimes impossible. For the first few weeks, life is still bearable. Work money from his trade union and is thus enabled to carry on. But when the last of his own money is gone and his trade union ceases to pay out because of the prolonged unemployment. Then comes the real distress. He now loiters about and is hungry. Sells the last of his belongings. His clothes begin to get shabby. Of his outward appearance, he descends to a lower social level and mixes up with a class of human beings through whom his mind is now poisoned, in addition to his physical misery.
So how do we stop
Then he has nowhere to sleep.
How do we stop?
Very often the case.
How do we stop that?
He is in dire distress. Work. But the old story repeats itself. Thing happens, then a third time, and now it is probably much worse. Little by little, he becomes indifferent to the everlasting insecurity. Finally, he grows used to the repetition. A man who is normally of industrious habits grows careless in his whole attitude towards life.
This is a nice reading.
And gradually becomes an instrument in the hands of unscrupulous people for the sake of their own ignoble aims.
So
He's a good book writer. Wow.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100 times.
Talks about the struggle